Jump right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are unpacking one of the most wildly entertaining story mashups to hit the anime fandom in a long time. We're talking about a massive, viral crossover between Jujutsu Kaisen and Naruto. It's a total roller coaster. It starts off with these incredibly awkward, hilarious dating struggles, but just wait, because it explodes into a massive, cinematic, action-packed drama. If you've ever found yourself wondering what would actually happen if Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer alive, tried to settle down and then had to violently defend his peace, well, you are in for an absolute treat today. To kick things off, the creator hits us with just a brutal, hilarious reality check. We get Gojo dropping his legendary, ultra-confident line, "Nah, I'd win." And the narrator immediately shuts him down with, "Bro, you lost before even starting." It's so good. It completely shatters that untouchable aura he has right out of the gate. It immediately signals to us that, sure, he has infinite cursed energy, but when it comes to romance, the guy is completely out of his depth. And man, this concept absolutely blew up online. Just look at this number here, 405,021. That is the sheer scale we're looking at. Those are the views on Creator Vuke's comedy crossover video, which also pulled in over 28,000 likes. This wasn't just some random niche joke. It spread like wildfire because it taps into something we all universally love, taking an insanely overpowered character and forcing them into the most awkward, mundane situation possible. And it totally nails exactly why this premise works. It's like night and day. On one side, you have his godly combat abilities, effortlessly destroying special-grade curses, throwing down with Sukuna. And on the right, his ultimate fatal weakness, talking to girls seriously. The contrast between being literally untouchable on the battlefield and being completely incompetent on a date is just the perfect setup for a comedy. So who on earth do you call when you're the strongest sorcerer but socially broken? Well, you need a mentor. But in true crossover fashion, the story leans super heavily into the irony. 999 times. That is the tragic number of times the specific mentor has been rejected. Yep, Gojo gets dating advice from the self-proclaimed legendary marriage master himself, Jiraiya from Naruto. The pervy sage literally pops out of an interdimensional portal to fix Gojo's love life, claiming he sensed this massive wave of loneliness energy from another universe. It's so ridiculous, but it's a brilliant setup since Jiraiya is already a legend in the meme community. So Jiraiya literally puts this socially broken sorcerer through a brutal 3-step training boot camp. Step 1, stop acting cool. Jiraiya straight up tells him that wearing a blindfold 24/7 doesn't make him look mysterious, it just makes him look emotionally unavailable. Step 2 is learning normal conversation, which goes horribly wrong when Gojo introduces himself to a girl as the honored one and instantly terrifies her. And finally, step 3, the date simulation. Which leads us to maybe the funniest visual gag in the whole thing. The simulation glitches out so badly that Jiraiya literally has to scream, "Turn off infinity during dates." See, Jiraiya sets up this fake restaurant date, but Gojo accidentally leaves his defensive infinity technique turned on, so the food literally cannot physically reach his mouth. It's just a genius way to take established Jujutsu Kaisen lore and turn it into a classic rom-com hurdle. Now you just know you can't have a Jujutsu Kaisen story without Ryomen Sukuna crashing the party. Sukuna suddenly pops up out of nowhere just to ruthlessly mock the strongest sorcerer for trying to learn romance. But Gojo does not hold back, firing off this devastating, bass-boosted roast. At least I'm not built like expired fingers. It's a hilarious, rapid-fire interruption that turns into an epic roast battle, and it perfectly captures that smug, petty rivalry we all expect from these two. But here is where it gets really interesting. The narrative suddenly shifts gears and drops this surprisingly emotional core on us. Jiraiya completely drops his goofy persona and hits Gojo with some genuine, hard-hitting wisdom. He says, "Strength alone doesn't make people stay. Even heroes become lonely." And you know what? That right there is exactly why Jiraiya is such an iconic anime mentor. For the first time, Gojo actually listens. He silently takes off the blindfold and shows some real vulnerability. It's a masterful tonal shift that gives all this crazy comedy some actual weight. Well, all that emotional vulnerability actually pays off because we make it to a wildly chaotic, multi-universe crossover wedding. Just look at this incredible guest list. We've got Naruto absolutely sobbing in the background, Yuji happily vlogging the entire ceremony, Kakashi just casually reading his book like nothing is happening, and Megami, classic Megami, sitting there deeply questioning all of his life choices. It paints such a vivid, chaotic picture of what an anime metaverse wedding would really look like. And then, The moment of truth. They are at the altar, the priest asks if he accepts his bride, and Gojo delivers the ultimate punchline. He remixes his most arrogant, famous quote to seal the deal, just triumphantly saying, "Nah, I'd marry." It's absolutely perfect. It brings the whole joke full circle, showing he actually grew from this awkward fighter into a confident husband, all while keeping his trademark swagger completely intact. But hold up, what about the guy who made this all happen? The creator hits us with some brutal, meme-heavy irony to close out the comedy arc. Gojo's status is officially happily married, while Jiraiya's status is still a tragic 0 wives. Gojo innocently looks around and asks where Jiraiya's wife is, and cue the sad Naruto flute music. Jiraiya just slowly fades away. The mentor who coached everyone else never got a win for himself. It's hilarious, but man, it's also a little heartbreaking. Okay, so you'd think that's happily ever after, right? Nope. The explainer takes this massive cinematic pivot right here. The whole pacing shifts into what feels like a high-budget anime movie. We see this gorgeous, peaceful life far away from Tokyo. The text on screen reads, "After years of chaos, the strongest sorcerer finally found peace." Gojo is just living quietly with his wife, no curses, no fighting. For once, he actually looks happy. But, as we are about to see, this beautiful, calm transition is really just setting the stage for the explosive second half. Because come on, peace in anime is basically just a countdown timer. Without warning, the sky turns blood red. This massive cursed aura appears out of nowhere, and an explosion completely levels their house. The dust clears, and Gojo is standing in front of his wife, totally unharmed, infinity already activated. His white hair is whipping in the wind, that glowing blue six-eyes aura is radiating off him, and the smile is completely gone. He looks at the attacker ice cold and says, "You touched my home." It's terrifying. People feared Gojo because he was strong, but they completely forgot how scary he becomes when someone he actually loves is in danger. What follows is just absolute top-tier cinematic chaos. The creator breaks down the timeline of his wrath, and it literally all happens in seconds. 1 second in, Gojo's just teleporting everywhere. 2 seconds, massive blasts of blue and red are colliding, literally shaking the city and destroying mountains. By second 3, the entire terrified enemy army is just erased from existence. And at 4 seconds, the literal sky is cracking open from a fully charged hollow purple. As the creator points out, this didn't even look like a fight. It looked like a natural disaster. But right in the middle of all this destruction, a rogue enemy tries to pull a cowardly sneak attack on Gojo's wife. And just when you think it's over, the crossover magic strikes again. Jiraiya bursts out of a portal with absolute heroic timing, casually saying, "Relax, kid, I got this one." He slams a massive Rust Sengan into the attacker, saving the bride. It's such a hype, satisfying moment. It proves that the bond between the superpowered student and his goofy mentor is way deeper than just some bad dating advice. After that absolute world-shaking display of power, we finally get a breather. The dust settles, Gojo's wife hugs him, and Yuji, who is somehow still recording all of this on his phone, screams out in sheer panic, "Guys, this is the first time Gojo acted normal!" To which Megumi just deadpans, "We're all doomed." It's so funny because the students suddenly realize that an emotionally grounded Gojo who actually has something to protect is infinitely more terrifying than the arrogant guy they're used to. And that perfectly sets up our final emotional scene. It's a quiet, moonlit night, the ruined city is in the background, and they're just sitting there, peacefully. His wife looks at him and asks, "You'd destroy the world for me, wouldn't you?" Gojo just lets out a soft laugh. There's this long pause, with just the wind blowing. And then he says, "Nah, I'd win first." It is the absolute perfect way to wrap up this explainer. It blends that fierce devotion he just discovered with the untouchable swagger we saw on day 1. It really leaves you wondering, what actually makes someone the strongest?